We are live. Come on in. Come one, come all. We don't charge anything for this great entertainment. We do it out of the kindness of our hearts. It's been a while, but PJ and Friends is back live. We do this on most Friday nights. We get together with my YouTube family, some dear friends. We hang out, we talk music, and I do some live reactions along with my friends here on the Pj-roc channel. Well, summer is quickly coming to a screeching halt. And I, for one, thank the new gods and the old gods. I am so done with the sun. I'm done. If the sun never rises again, no, that's just going a bit too far. Too far. Welcome to the show, y'all. We're going to have a great time tonight. But there is some business that I'd like to address as my mom is calling me live. No, Mom, I can't pick up the phone right now. I'm doing a live show here, Mom. Well, what's the matter with you? Don't you know my schedule? Good to have you guys on board. On September 11th, 2001, the world witnessed one of the most tragic events in modern history. In a coordinated attack, terrorists hijacked 4 commercial planes, crashing 2 of them into New York's iconic Twin Towers. One flew into the Pentagon and another in Pennsylvania after the passengers on board bravely intervened. Nearly 3,000 people lost their lives on that day. One of my dear childhood friends was one of them. Those attacks reshaped global security, foreign policy, and the way we all think about terrorism. But amidst all of that horror, we also saw stories of heroism. First responders risking their lives, running into the tragedy to do good. Ordinary people getting together and uniting in acts of courage and compassion. On our little show here tonight, for part of the time, we'll remember those tragic events with music. My friends and I honor the resilience and the strength of those who survived. Mr. H, Nicole, come on in. Would you guys like to add anything to what was just said?
No, you did a great job introducing the show and what happened on that horrific day and stuff. So anything I have to add will be added later when because
When
what
we get to that point.
I was kind of humorous about a story about a friend of mine and stuff like that. So right now, like I said, I'll save it towards the end of the show.
Awesome. So, party people, please check out my folk music channel. I'll be honest with you. I love me some folk music, but I really haven't done much over there. The reason I'm telling you to check it out is because in the past I have, and there's some great stuff on there. So if you are just a bit curious about folk music or watching an old fart like me learn about folk music, go check out Norspective 8436 on the YouTube machine. Mr. H, my brother from another mother, has a YouTube presence as well. He goes by the name of DJ with the question mark, no J. Why, Mr. H?
Because I'm not a DJ.
Because he's not a DJ, but he is a VJ. Remember VJs from MTV days?
Yeah.
Tell them about your channel, man. What are you doing over there?
I haven't been doing anything for, ever since, your scare with the cancer and stuff like that.
Big C.
I hadn't done anything, and then my hip had a bone spur in my hip. I had my own, found out I got arthritis and stuff. But I've been busy working, and sad to say, I finally got taxes done, and the accountant is waiting for the check to send to the IRS and the California State Franchise Tax Board, and the number just scares the hell out of me.
Yeah. You know what, though, brother? Like we've talked about, you've arrived when the IRS comes knocking.
Yeah, when you have to write a check as big as I have to write, then you have. So
I'm just saying, I don't think you need a private jet and a yacht. So I was going to suggest maybe,
well, I'm going to, in order to pay my tax bill, I'm going to go ahead and sell that yacht. So
there you go. Nicole Diamond is in the building. She, as you guys know, is our key to country music's past. We like to honor the history of country music here on the show. What's the date again?
The 13th.
Yeah. The Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, which is my favorite day. It's a lucky day.
There's got to be some good marathons on TV tonight. Nicole, what happened on this day, Friday the 13th? What month is this again? September 13th.
September 13th, Friday the 13th.
In country.
On this day, September 13th, in 1911, born in Roslyn, Kentucky, was Bill Monroe, American mandolinist who helped create the style of music known as bluegrass. The generation takes its name from his band, the Bluegrass Boys, named for Monroe's home state of Kentucky. He is often referred to as the father of bluegrass. Monroe died on September 9th of 1996.
Bluegrass music. You know why? I just love the instrumentation. I love
start over, PJ. We didn't hear the very front. So.
Okay. I was going to say, I love me some bluegrass music. Nicole. As you know, I've reacted to probably, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 Bill Monroe songs on the channel. And I love the instrumentation in bluegrass music. I love the fact that back in the day, and still today to some degree, there's only one microphone involved. I love watching the old clips of those guys and their movements towards that single microphone and how they would hold their instruments up to get that amplification. I also love the fact about bluegrass that there's no real percussion. There's no drums. And I
Yeah.
found that to be really fascinating. Love me some Bill Monroe. And by the way, the first time that I even heard of a mandolin was here on the channel, and it was in reacting to some Bill Monroe stuff. R.I.P. to the king of bluegrass music, Mr. Bill Monroe. Nicole?
On this day in 1952, Webb Pierce was introduced into the Grand Ole Opry. The American country singer, vocalist, songwriter, guitarist of the 1950s, but the most popular of the genre, charting more #1 hits than any other country western artist during that decade.
Yeah, the heir apparent to Hank Williams Sr. Webb is a fascinating character from the little that I've learned about him. Nicole, you may know this. He actually had a guitar-shaped swimming pool.
Mhm.
And the man would have some wild parties at his house. The kind of parties that I would have loved to have been invited to. Webb Pierce, I've reacted to some of Webb's stuff, and I look forward to in the very near future doing a Webb Pierce deep dive. He is definitely worthy of it. I know, Nicole, that he is someone that I need to know about, and I am really looking forward to getting to know more about Webb Pierce. Yeah, he was huge. He was massive. 1952. Nicole?
On this day in 1965, Buck Owens had the #1 country album, I've Got a Tiger by the Tail. Owens later said he got the idea for I've Got a Tiger by the Tail after seeing an Esco gas station sign with the company slogan at the time, "Put a tiger in your tank."
I am fine with putting a tiger in my tank, a really big dog, heck, even an elephant, whichever one's cheaper.
Now, my story with this one, I said I had a story to go with this one,
Yep.
is the fact that we get a laugh out of every time we hear this song because my daughter had a rabbit when she was little. My mom, me, my husband, and my dad were all sitting outside one time. Next thing you know, we hear my daughter freaking out, yelling, and we look up, and my son has the rabbit by the tail swinging it back and forth, and we thought of this song automatically. So every time we hear this song, we think of my son at the age of 2 swinging the rabbit back and forth by the tail.
That is so funny. Did the rabbit survive the incident is what people want to know.
Yes, the rabbit survived because we got up and caught him.
That is too
But
funny.
my daughter was flipping out.
I bet she was. She's like, "Oh, he's gonna be a serial killer. Take that pet away from him."
So
That
that's
is
every
funny.
time we hear that song, we think of that now.
That is so funny. Buck Owens is someone that I've listened to briefly. One of the most iconic country songs that I've heard, Nicole. We talked a little bit about this. Is "Streets of Bakersfield."
Hmm.
Um, when I first heard that song, and by the way, "Tallest Mountain" is the one who put me on to the Bakersfield sound. I had been doing my reactions and doing, normal classic country music stuff. And she's like, you know what? You need to check out some Buck Owens and that whole Bakersfield sound, which led to Merle and that whole branch of the country music tree. Really, really cool stuff. I love the story of Buck. You have to forgive me. I forget the name of one of his bandmates. Somebody in the chat will know. Lori will probably chime in. I want to say he was a guitar player. He was responsible for a lot of that music coming out of Bakersfield. He played with Buck Owens and was in his band. When he died, and I'm sorry, I should have had this together. When he died, Buck went into just a spiral. It was his dear friend, and decided to hang it up. Buck was like, you know what, thank you so much, Lori, Don Rich. Buck was like, I can't do this without Don, and didn't for a very long time. He was done with music and had basically gone into retirement. And along came this handsome, dynamic, bona fide. People looked at him and just knew that he was going to be a star. Of course, Nicole, you know who I'm talking about, right? The ladies love him, right? Who am I talking about, Nicole?
Dwight
Come
Yoakam.
on now. Dwight Yoakam. He pulled or was responsible for partially pulling Buck Owens out of his funk. He got Buck Owens to do this record with him, Streets of Bakersfield.
Hmm.
And that song is definitely in my top 10 of all of the country music that I've heard so far. Just an infectious sound.
And I think
This
the ladies love Dwight's dance moves.
Oh man, the ladies love Dwight in them jeans and the way he moves. Buenos noches from a lonely room. Um, you know, just super talented. Hats off to Mr. Buck Owens. I don't think, well, I know for sure, I have not reacted to I've Got a Tiger by the Tail. I do know I have request for it, and it's going to be coming up at some point. Great stuff. And I love that story, by the way, about you, about the rabbit. That is
Hmm.
too funny. Great stuff.
On this day in 1975, Don Rooney, the guitar vocalist and songwriter with Rascal Flatts, was born. Rascal Flatts has scored 11 U.S. #1 country hits.
Yeah, don't know these guys too well at all. I've heard of them on the channel. I know we've talked about Rascal Flatts before, and I may have, I don't know, possibly reacted to maybe a song, but I'm not too familiar with their sound. Anybody, Nicole, who has 11 country #1s is worth getting to know. And they're on the list. They're on the list. 1975. Great stuff.
On this day in 1976, Waylon Jennings was at number 1 on the U.S. country albums charts with Are You Ready for the Country? Its title track is the song from Neil Young's seminal 1972 album, Harvest. Despite the title, this outlaw country album featured cover rock songs, including Can't You See by the Marshall Tucker Band, MacArthur Park Revisited, and won Waylon his first Grammy in 1969.
Great stuff. Of course, I have reacted to a ton of Waylon Jennings stuff. I've done a deep dive on Waylon. One of my favorite outlaws. Love the stuff that he did with, what were they called? Him, Willie, Chris.
The Highwaymen.
The Highwaymen. Just completely adore what that group of talented musicians got together and did. And they just looked like they were having the times of their lives up there on the stage. I've seen a concert video, an entire concert with those guys, and they were just having a blast. Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson. Am I leaving anybody out? All up there on the same stage. Johnny Cash. Just a tremendous super group. Love the energy that those guys brought. But Waylon was just masterful. And as I was reminded by a friend of the channel here very recently, as I'm on my Bobby Bear deep dive, you can't talk about Bobby Bear without talking about Waylon Jennings. Bobby Bear was responsible for bringing Waylon Jennings to Chet Atkins' attention. Yeah, you guys know Chet Atkins. He was just everywhere. If you want to be a star, make sure that Chet Atkins is in town. If you have any talent, back in the day, you just make sure that at least there was somebody in the audience that was remotely tied to Chet. Because if you had the talent and you were for real, Chet was going to make it happen. He had the Midas touch. Great stuff. Love me some Waylon and everything that he did, Nicole. Nicole, thank you so much for taking us back into country music history. Great stuff, all of it. Wonderful stuff. Mr. H.
Yes, sir.
Summer's almost gone, man. Well, it may be gone. I don't know. What's the official date? I don't know.
It's not officially over that I'm aware of, but I know that I was looking at the report. So after the weekend, starting Monday, it's definitely going to be in the 80s, and throughout the week next week here in California,
September 21st, the official end of summer.
Like it's going to be down in the 70s, possibly. So,
wow, what a dramatic shift!
Tomorrow, 86, high of 86. Sunday, 82. Monday, 71.
Wow.
75 on Tuesday, 73 on Wednesday, 71 again on Thursday. Then it starts heading back up starting on Friday, 84, and then 89 and 90 on going into the weekend. So I guess we're going to have one more hot spell, maybe. Hopefully it doesn't get any higher than the 90s and stuff. So
yeah. Hey Siri, what was the high today?
The high will be 102 degrees Fahrenheit today.
Yeah, so it was a bit on the cooler side for us today. It only got up to 102, Mr. H.
Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah, that's for you. That's cool.
That's a relief. We had been, up in the 118s, 120s. Just absolutely ridiculous. Mr. H, back on September 11th, 2001,
Yeah.
I was driving in the very early morning hours, Pacific time, West Coast time, from my home in Temecula, California,
Right.
to work in San Diego, California. That time I was at Scripps Hospital. Something else you and I have in common.
Yeah. No, we didn't work there at the same time, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. Got there in beautiful La Jolla. Now, I'd been listening to the radio on the way down as my custom. And of course, I'm getting a blow by blow
Yeah.
of something taking place in the skies of New York City, right? And as you know, when this thing first happened, especially for those of you that were listening to this stuff on radio, nobody was quite sure what the hell was going on.
Right.
So what I heard was, it appears as though a small plane, because of course nobody could ever imagine a 747 going into one of those towers, right?
Right.
So
Commercial
the word
airlines,
was
yeah.
there was, a small plane had just, crashed into the World Trade Center, so on and so forth. And of course, as time went on, the horrific reality came into full focus. So I'm on my way to work, and my head is like, what? Back at that time, I had only been out for a few years, and I was thinking, well, you know how it is. They're gonna pull me right back in, and I was down. Let's go. But I get to work in the operating room, and the night shift is there. Maybe about 4 people. They're all knocked out. There's nothing going on. And I'm like, guys, wake up. Turn on the TV. What are you talking about? It's only 6 o'clock. Blah, 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 blah. And so I will never forget that drive into work. I'll never forget the people who I had to tell that there was something horrific going on. Of course, we turned on that TV like many millions of people did on that fateful morning, and just witnessed the utter shock and devastation that we all witnessed live. Just seared into my memory banks.
Yeah.
H, what were where were you?
I was at home asleep. My one of my older brothers gave me a call, woke me up, and told me to turn on the radio, or turn on the TV. And by the way, just a shout out to my brother Roger, or people know him as Francis. He's apparently in the room. Hey, bro, glad you were able to watch us on the show. But he called me and was the one that told me what was going on. I was in disbelief. I think I watched for about 10 minutes, and then it dawned on me. My mother lived right next door. So I walked over there. She was already watching. I believe my brother had called her too. And I remember her saying, "Oh my God, this is the end of the world," and stuff. So she just total disbelief. And this is even before the second plane had hit the second tower and stuff. So, it's just absolutely crazy. Thank God. I mean, I feel very bad for all the people that lost their lives in all the planes, but I thank God for the passengers on the one in Pennsylvania where they took over. They, the terrorists had gotten the plane, but then the passengers took it back, and
Let's roll.
they allowed it to crash into the field so that nobody, other than the passengers, nobody else died. So,
And of course,
very
we know
heroic.
that. Absolutely, we know that because subsequently, the recordings came out, and the loved
Right,
ones
people were on their
able
phones saying
Absolutely.
goodbye to their families and stuff. So,
Absolutely. Now, I'm thinking, did we have FaceTime back then? I don't think so.
no,
No.
I don't
That's
believe
right.
we did.
Well, we couldn't have had, because it would have been,
We
yeah,
didn't even have
Nicole?
iPhones. We didn't even have iPhones back then.
In 2001.
Yeah, no, we didn't have.
Yeah,
we had,
you're absolutely right. Yeah. Where were you,
MySpace-
Nicole?
We had the
Okay.
bulky flip phones.
I was going to say MySpace wasn't even out yet because MySpace didn't come out until
Yeah,
2010.
we didn't have Facebook. We didn't have any of that stuff. I mean,
This was the beginning of the decade. I mean, this is 2001. We
Yeah.
had just, Nicole, how old were you?
we were using AOL dial-up.
Yeah, we were still
Dial-up
using.
modem.
I remember the AOL.
Little CD, the CDs
Yeah, and
that would
it
come
take
in the
him
mail unannounced.
It would take
You
forever
got
to
mail.
load.
By the way, John said, let us know that because I put it in the chat. Just go ahead and switch over. I put it in the chat so you guys all can click over to StreamYard and stuff like that. So actually, it looks like everybody is there. Everybody's. So you know what, folks?
Well-trained,
We're not
man.
even going to take a break. PJ,
I was
I'm
going to
shutting
say,
down.
I was at my parents' house at the time it happened
Mhm.
because I was pregnant with my first child, with my daughter.
Mm.
And my husband was working at the amusement park at the time.
Yeah.
And he didn't get off until like 2, and it was almost time for my daughter to be born. Thankfully, she came like 8 days later after 9/11.
Mm.
So she just missed the, being born around that time. But
Hey, Mike has a
Yeah.
good question. Remember Web TV?
I don't know if I do or not. Web TV. That sounds vaguely familiar. Do you guys remember Web TV?
I've heard of it. I never used it.
Yeah. I don't think I have either.
check private chat when you get a chance.
Yeah, I got the yeah.
Nicole, whether it is or not, we'll do it. I mean, we'll just, you know what I mean? It's okay. It's appropriate for tonight. So, I mean, if it's,
it shows more footage. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, I think it'd probably be a better.
Yeah.
I mean, the original does. I mean, that's why I was asking.
That's fine. And then, guys, at some point, I later came to find out that a childhood friend of mine, Claudia Walters, of course, she had since gotten married, and I forget what her new last name is, but I knew her as Claudia Walters. We were classmates. We would walk to the bus stop together almost every morning to catch that bus to head out to school. And I later found out that she was at work in one of those towers on that fateful day. And, every year I see her picture on my Facebook feed. And so I think 9/11 is personal to all of us as Americans, and we lost so many people on that day, and it really changed, as I said in the opening monologue, it just changed so much. But we all agree that we're a couple days late here, but remembering those events, but remembering the spirit that we fought back with, remembering the people who survived, the first responders, and our resiliency is really, really important. And so we thought we would take the first part of, or the second part of the show this evening to look at some songs that are a direct result of the events that took place on that horrific day in 2001. So we'll do that. Some of these songs, probably most of them, I have not heard. If they're ones that I have heard, I'd be sure to let you know. But we're going to check out some of that stuff, right, Mr. H?
Absolutely. So we've lost most of our audience. It looks like I'm only seeing. So, and we just lost somebody who's on the YouTube now. So
You think
we're
something
down to
happened?
yeah, I don't know what's
crashed?
going on. It's you know what? Let me try the link
Okay.
to make sure that the StreamYard link is working. All right, giving myself a thumbs up.
Okay, I see it. I see you have it there in the chat. I'm gonna
Yep,
send that.
it's the proper link. It definitely is the proper link. So if you're signing on, please please come over to StreamYard. So we're gonna go live. And I mean, we are live and we're on StreamYard. So, but it looks like, you know what? I don't know. I think it's maybe delayed because I'm on.
Well, ask
I'm
people.
on StreamYard and we're on.
Yeah, ask people in the chat to chime in. If they're there, they need to let us know with a thumbs up or something.
Yeah. Because it doesn't register that I'm on. So because it says we have. Okay, so Lori's watching on StreamYard. I know John Davidson's on StreamYard. So anybody who's left over in YouTube,
Mike is there.
I am going to go ahead and switch off YouTube, so that way we don't get any strikes or get shut down. So again, somebody just popped into YouTube. Please switch over. The comment of this link is in the comment section, so click on it if you want to watch us on StreamYard. Because here we go, folks. YouTube